Hello everyone, it's Paola. Welcome to a new Theater Thursday video. I hope you guys are having a great week so far. I'm a little bit overwhelmed myself, but it's, fine. Nothing I cannot handle. And today we are talking about Tuck Everlasting, the unfortunately short-lived Broadway musical. Tuck Everlasting is a musical based on Natalie Babbitt's novel of the same name about an 11-year-old called Winnie Foster, played in the musical by Sarah Charles Lewis, comes across a family in the woods that have stayed the same age since they drank from a magical spring 100 years ago. Before I move into the discussion portion of this video, so first of all, I personally really loved Tuck Everlasting. I never got the chance to see it live or anything. I was just very excited about the production. I didn't even know who was going to be a part of it, and honestly I didn't even care. Tuck Everlasting was a book that I first read when I was in 6th grade, and I really enjoyed it. I thought it was a very sweet story that celebrated life and death and how we all have a purpose on this earth. And when I heard about the musical, I really did not know anything about anything. And when the musical made its Broadway premiere, I was very excited. And before they started performances, Andrew Keenan Bolger did a vlog series for Broadway.com, which I found so heartwarming. I have never felt more hugged by a vlog series by Broadway.com until Forever 17, which is the name of the vlog series. I will leave a link to it down below. Definitely watch it. And then they released the cast recording, and I was floored. It was beautiful. I loved it, and I cannot pinpoint exactly what it is about that musical that makes me feel so full of life. Not only because of the theme of the musical, obviously, but also like the music was exactly what I wanted. You know, that kind of music that makes you feel like you're lost in the woods and dancing uncontrollably, and it's the greatest moment of your life. That's how I felt. And I will confess to having watched a bootleg, and it looked so extravagant in the best way possible. The most interesting thing about Tuck Everlasting failing on the Great White Way to me is that it got really good reviews, but the audience was just, not responding to it. Not because they weren't liking it, but because they weren't going into the Tuck Everlasting theater. A review from Variety said, "Despite its existentialism light sweep, this is an intimate family story of love, loss, and the purpose and power of storytelling in the American folk tradition of Twain and Wilder." So this is another great thing that the musical had going for it, and that I personally think that made it very marketable. The fact that it was a family story of love and loss, because everybody can relate to that. It was also a very classic kind of fairy tale-y story. And the casting was fantastic. We had newcomer Sarah Charles Lewis as Winnie Foster, who absolutely stole the show. I will leave links to backstage thingies, as well as the sort of music video of Good Girl Winnie Foster that they did. She is stunning. She's ridiculously talented. We also had Andrew Keenan Bolger as Jesse Tuck, Carolee Carmello as May Tuck, Michael Park as Angus Tuck, and let me tell you, the chemistry that these two people had, oh my goodness. It made me want to spend 100 years next to someone. And there's a song about it in the musical too, which just melts my heart. We had Terrence Mann as the man in the yellow suit, and holy crap, it evoked such emotion and such creepiness and stalkery vibes just in the cast recording, which I think takes a tremendous amount of talent. He was excellent. Fred Applegate played Constable Joe. Robert Lindsay played Miles Tuck, and he was so good. Again, you don't even have to watch the bootleg, you can only listen to the cast recording, and it sounds so perfect. The emotion is all there. He was perfect for this role. And finally, we had Valerie Wright and Pippa Pear 3 as Winnie's mother and Winnie's grandmother, respectively. It was a stellar cast. It was a stellar production. I'm still really sad that it flopped on Broadway. Even more surprisingly, to me at least, that this musical flopped is that it got nominated for quite a few awards. Let me read them to you. It says they were nominated for the 2016 Tony Award for Best Costume Design by Greg Barnes. For the Outer Critics Circle Award, they got nominated for Outstanding Musical, Outstanding Featured Actor in a Musical with Terrence Marin, and Outstanding Scenic Design by Walt Spangler. For Drama League Awards, they were nominated for Outstanding Production of a Musical and Distinguished Performance with Andrew Keenan Bolger. And for the Fred and Adele Astaire Award, they were nominated for Outstanding Choreographer of a Broadway Show with Casey Nicholaw, Outstanding Female Dancer in a Broadway Show with Deanna Doyle. And for the Theatre World Award, Sarah Charles Lewis was nominated, and she actually won. Sadly, the production ended on May 19th of 2016 after 28 previews and only 39 regular performances. And then with this video, my goal was really to help me and help you if you're interested in knowing what sank this show. And so I did my research, and according to a New York Times article titled Anatomy of a Broadway Flop, what sank these 4 shows? I will leave the article linked down below so that you can check it out. About Tuck Everlasting, it said the run, 28 previews, then 39 performances, said that the cost of making this musical was $11 million. Then it says Offstage, a beloved children's book published in 1975 by Natalie Babbitt, was the key ingredient. Add in the hitmaker Casey Nicholaw as director and choreographer, changing pace from his Go for the Guffaw spectacles, Aladdin, The Book of Mormon, and Something Rotten. The musical's initial book was by Claudia Schiffer, and then the producers added Tim Featherly to help revise it for Broadway. Chris Miller and Nathan Tyson did the score. The lead producer was Beth Williams. What were they thinking? An initial production in Atlanta was well received. Mr. Nicholaw has a track record of commercial success, and family-friendly musicals often do well on Broadway. And the critical response was tepid with a few exceptions. Why it failed? Without big stars, it had low advance sales, and some argued that its leafy logo was unhelpful. The story is a bit of a fairy tale, often hard to execute. Adults perceived it as a show for children, and family shows without the Disney imprimatur are hard to sell. Talk was sweet and lovely, but those are not the adjectives a musical needed this season to be heard above the din. Which makes a lot of sense. A lot of people blamed Hamilton for getting all the attention in 2016, for all the Broadway flops. I don't agree that Hamilton was to blame for all of this. And then according to Playbill, for the week ending on May 22nd, it only sold 325,361.28 worth of tickets out of a potential $1,112,446. So, you know, there's a big disparage between what was expected to sell and what was actually sold. And I'm just genuinely really sad. Even 4.5 years later, it's really sad to see such a great show closing because people didn't really trust it. I think the marketing team relied a whole lot on people knowing Tuck Everlasting. It's really not enough to expect the book to do the marketing, not for you, but, you know, to work with you when the book is really old. And no, I don't think enough people know about it to trust a non-Disney company to put it on stage, which is really unfortunate because this musical stole my heart. It was so worth it, and I'm just heartbroken that not enough people got to see it. Alrighty, so that's it for today's video. Let me know in the comments below if you've seen or if you've listened to the cast recording of Talk Everlasting and what you think in general of it having been a flop. And if you haven't already and you'd like to, go ahead and hit subscribe, and I'll see you in my next video. Bye!